Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to be looking at some updates I'm doing to my Longshot Strife Prism to be getting it ready for this year's Endwar. So this was the original Longshot Strife that I did for Merge Masters 1. It's a great proof of concept, however the integration work is a little sloppy, so I went on to make the second Longshot Strife for Endwar 1, which performed really well at the event. However, over time and from transporting it back from the event, it developed a crack or two, as well as some electrical issues. So I decided to go back in and redo it to use as my primary again for this year's Endwar. So right now where we're at with this build is I sanded down all the original paint and primer down to the bare shell again. Then I primed it after to see where the issues are, just because it's much easier to pick out problems when everything is the same color. So I went back in, I added some more putty, and now I just need to sand that down and continue this process until I'm happy with all of the bodywork. Then I can move on to repainting the blaster. The original paint for this blaster was a pink, black, and white color scheme. I think I'm going to stick with that. However, this time when I clear coat it, instead of doing a matte, I'll probably do it 2K and just leave it glossy, just because it feels really nice. I don't know how to describe it. I'm usually a fan of a matte paint job, however, with the higher end blasters, like I'm putting a lot of effort into this, I want even the feel to be right. So although I prefer the look of the matte, I think the glossy feel of the 2K just really something that I'm going for with this build. Originally, this blaster had an artifact red cage, worker wheels, and original Hellcats. I bought this cage last year to put in this blaster for Endwar 2, however I didn't finish it in time, so I'm still going to use it. But it's a DRS Gen 4 cage with Neo Hellcats, so it should perform about under the 130 FPS limit just because it's not a very high crush cage. This one was right around 130 almost exactly. This one should be a little lower, but because it's a canted brass cage, it should be much more accurate, so I won't have to waste as much ammo. Originally, I was just going to use the same stock that I made for the original blaster, which is a worker stock, which I put a polycarbonate sheet in the one side, and then the other side had some little standoffs, which I ripped out and was going to redo as 3D printed rather than CPVC with hot glue. But I decided to just 3D print the whole thing. I showed this off at my booth at Endwar last year, but it's essentially just a mock-up of the same worker stock, but with the much larger gap, because I don't have to worry about, for example, springers. The plunger rod would go back further, whereas this is just an electronic blaster, so I can add a bit of extra space towards here to allow for more room for wires and electronics and things like that. Because I was pretty new at modeling, the original model for this was terrible, and I just couldn't work with it after a certain point, so I am in the process of redoing it as a much cleaner model now that I'm a bit more familiar with the software and have used modeling a lot more over the past year. So I'm going to remake this. I will probably make some kind of design on this side just so that it's not as boring. I sand it down to be completely smooth, filler primer, all that jazz, paint it to match, and then we would be good to go with our new battery stock on this blaster. So that's sort of where I'm at with this blaster. Like I said, this will be my primary for the upcoming Endwar, so I'm at a pretty good stage. However, I need to finish going over the corrective bodywork, then I can get into painting and redoing the electronics and such. I know I haven't been super active on this channel recently, however I'm now in a position to be way more active on this channel, and I look forward to producing much more videos. I've decided that I'm going to pretty much keep it exclusively modding related, as that's sort of what my favorite videos to make have always been, so I'm going to sort of drop reviews and things that a lot of other channels do and focus solely on the modding aspect of the hobby. For more involved projects such as this one you see here, the Bullpup Rapid Strike that I've been working on and off on for a while, and other things like this tactical shotgun rough cut thing and some other projects. I'll probably do a maybe weekly video where I showcase one of them and sort of what I've done over the past week as I continue to work on these more complex blasters, and then put out other side videos for mod guides and other shorter content for single blaster type things. Then I also really want to get back to making homemades. For one, not a lot of people make old school homemades anymore. to be honest. I know there's a few out there, but it's sort of a dying art. So I'd like to get back into that, maybe mix in some 3D printing and some more modern techniques and sort of make a hybrid of old school and new school thought processes with homemades, especially because right after Endwar in August is my next big event, which would be APOC, which I will be attending this year. So that'll be a lot of fun, and I should really get back into making homemades because with the exception of my caliber, most of mine are pretty outdated. So I would enjoy getting back into that. So those are my quick thoughts about the direction I'd like to take my channel. If you have any thoughts for or against it, please let me know in the comments section down below. I'd like to thank everyone who stuck with me over my long break. Pretty much back for good now, and I look forward to being active in the community and making awesome builds as we go into the future. So a big thank you to everyone who stuck with me, and I will see you guys hopefully at Endwar this year. Speaking of Endwar, I got custom patches made for this year. They're a nice rubber and with Velcro backing, so I'll be giving them out at my booth at this year's FoamCon. I have about 100 that I made. I distributed a few to some Northeast friends before I left. However, I will be giving out the remainder for free at my booth. So come say hi at this year's FoamCon, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.